a few years ago, all right, in 2023, after my software engineering, when I discovered that people were asking to know more from what I know. And over the course of that year, 3 years, I've trained people, work with companies, and also partner with some training institutions, right? So if you Google me, you can see some of the places I've spoken, and the people I've also organized training with, right? So that is me basically. So tonight I want to introduce you to Python. And one thing I want you to know is there are different programming languages for different things. It's just like a mechanic with a different set of tools. Like he has a spanner, there's a screwdriver of different kind and sizes. The same thing with spanner, right? So programming are just tools. Programming languages are tools that you use as a programmer, right, to be able to get work done. So when you focus on programming language, one particular one, you become limited. And one core thing you need to understand is, as somebody who is going to solve a problem, you must understand that your idea or your knowledge of how to use different tools, like I said, different programming language goes a long way to tell what you can do and how far you can do that thing, right? So like I told you before, Python is not the only language I know and I can teach. I teach Python. In fact, I started with Java. So I write Java, I write JavaScript, I write Node, all right, and then also Python, yeah, and the host of them. So React and the front-end framework, right? So tonight, let's talk about Python properly. So the class has started officially. So what is Python? Why is it trending? Why is it the most popular language? All right, so Python is a dynamic programming language. By dynamic, we mean that most of what you see in Python are not explicit. What do I mean by that? So if I'm going to create a variable, for example, and I say x equal to 6, for example, this is just, it's simple, it's understandable. You know that this is a variable and you are assigning the value of 6, right? I hope you can see my screen. Confirm you can see my screen. Can you see the code I'm doing?
Yes, sir, we can see your screen.
All right, thank you. So now, if it is JavaScript, for example, I will need to use a keyword to declare the variable. If it is Java, I will need a keyword to declare the variable. So if it's an integer, I need to do int variable name and then before the number. Now, if it's like this, is what is Python? Python, that's why I say it's dynamic, it's simple to understand, right? So you don't need any, immediately you create a variable and you assign a value, Python already know the kind of data type you are dealing with. So you don't need to be explicit. You don't need to tell Python that this is what I want to do or this is what I'm doing. Python already know that this is an integer data type. The same thing if you have a, come on, let me turn this off. So if you have, oh no, where did I quickly turn this off? Sorry, please. Yeah, so disable, yeah. All right, so disable. Now, if we have something like this, and I say n, and I say equal to, and I say John, for example, I don't need to tell Python that this is a string. Python already know that this is a string data type. So that's why I said is dynamic, is straightforward, is easy to understand. So you don't go through the stress of, okay, this is an int variable. So, and in you trying to write your code, it becomes understandable. People can read and understand. A dummy can see the code and understand what it's saying. So you don't need to explicitly put everything, right? I hope what I'm saying makes sense. And then as regard why it is popular, so you can see the trend of things in the last 5 or 4 years, or even 3 years ago. We are not talking about Python. We are not even where we are within a 2020 22, when is it 22 or 23, when people begin to talk about AI, and open AI just come up, everything explode. It's not that it has been there. All right. So what am I saying? The trend of things, the changes, the industrial change, anything. Anyway, so the change that is taking place currently, where you see AI, automation, data science, data engineering, that is all going on, is as a result of a change in how we used to do things. So like I was trying to say, that Python is not the language we have been talking about. Most people talk about in the last 3 years, but today it has become a language. Why? Because if you want to build anything fast, scalable, and with utmost speed right now, the best language you can go to is Python. Why? Because the libraries are ready for you. There is no single idea that you have right now that you want to build that there is no library for you. The community that Python has is so large that they are building and updating existing libraries every single day. And this alone will help you to grow and also to speed up whatever you want to do. So if you are building anything and you are experiencing lag, and you are building with Python and you are experiencing limitation, is because you are not exposed to some certain information or libraries that can ease your work. All right. So what am I saying? Python is now the trending programming language because of where we are today as people, as technology evolves, right? So we talk about automation, AI, machine learning, data engineering, and the rest of them. All of that cannot, I'm not saying that there are no languages that cannot do it apart from Python, no. But if you want something fast, if you want something cheap, as quick as possible, the best language to choose from is Python. Please, I want to confirm you are following me. Can I hear, are you following me? Let me get a reaction. Yeah, okay, thank you. So we need to understand that when you now begin to delve into Python, you are delving into a programming language that can solve problem as fast as you can. All right. And this is the reason why people prefer it, because it is fast, it is scalable, and industries are using it because nobody has the time to be waiting for when to be looking for packages and all of that. Okay. So, and most programmers actually, I know some of you are programmers and are here. Yeah. So yeah, so that is it for Python. And then let's go further. So you cannot do anything without Python being installed on your system. So there are two ways. You can either have it on the cloud. I had somebody who came to my class one time and said that he cannot join the class because he doesn't, his laptop is hanging. I said, bro, it is your mindset. There are online cloud services that you can use. I started with Replit when I was struggling to learn online when I did not have laptop. I used Replit. So you can create a free account with Replit and use Replit. So you don't even need to have Python installed on your system to use Replit. It's online. So you can write your code there, run your code, install libraries and whatever. And with that, you can get yourself started. All right. Why am I saying this? Please don't limit yourself. This person that left the group, I chatted him and this is one of the things he said. So that's why I'm saying this. So please don't limit yourself. Always ask more questions. How else can I do if this is not possible? That way you are broken free. But the moment you focus on one side, you are limited. Anyway, so let's proceed. So that is that about Python. So you must have Python installed on your local machine if you are going to write your code on your local machine. And then the next thing is a Visual Studio Code. So I'm currently using Visual Studio Code. This is Visual Studio Code. This is how it looks like. And then if we are to go with Jupyter, Jupyter is a web-based platform. So it's not, I don't see it as a coding, what is it called? A coding environment. So notebook. Are people seeing what I'm typing?
Yes, sir, we can see your
All
command
right, so
prompt.
I'm trying to run, I've already installed Jupyter, so I'm trying to run it so that you see how it gets displayed on the terminal. So once we're done with this, we can go into writing the code, right? So yeah, so this is how to run your Jupyter notebook. Once you get it installed, you follow the video I shared, you can just get it. So if I click on new here, you can create a new file specifically for what you want to do, create a new folder specifically for what you want to do, but just for demo, let's just start the kernel. So you will need a kernel to run Jupyter. So this Python kernel is what we are using. And here you can write your code. So if I say x equal to 9 or 90, for example, and I say print x, for example, like this, okay? So we now have, and we will now come here and click on the play button here. So you can see that it got printed for us. So what I'm going to do now is, I think I'm going to, I'm not going to use VS Code. I'm going to come over here so that we can use it. Are we okay with that? Yeah?
Yes, sir, anyone works.
All right. So let's go with this. So
So
now
I have a
let's start.
question. Can I ask a
I've
question?
told you what, yes, shoot.
Okay, so when you were about running the Jupyter notebook, did you specify
Yeah.
any environment, or you just run it from the base environment?
No, okay, yes. So if you are on a visual, if you are on Mac or Linux, you will need to create a virtual environment. So I did not create a virtual environment. I'm on Windows and it's already there. So, but then it is always advisable that you create a virtual environment. So I, for example, I create an environment whenever I'm going to install a library, a package. So if I'm dealing with, let's say, I'm dealing with Matplotlib. When we are dealing with that tomorrow, you'll see me creating a virtual environment and activating the virtual environment and setting it up all for you. So please don't miss tomorrow class, right? So that's the best way to go. Okay, does that answer? So are you on Mac, sir, or Linux?
Both.
Oh, okay, awesome. So always create a virtual environment, okay? Always create a virtual environment. That is what your machine always allow. All right. Okay, so let's start. Now I've explained Python. I've explained why it is necessary and why so many people are using it. Yes, Emeka, you have a question. Shoot.
Sir, please, I was the one that was struggling to install this Jupyter. I asked for help.
Oh, okay,
You
okay,
say
okay, okay. So, all right. Are you on Mac or Windows?
Windows, sir.
All right, awesome. So what you do is simple. Just head over to your terminal. So let me create this one for your sample. So once you open your CMD, just go to your window and type CMD here. It will open. Once you hit enter, it will bring you here. Now here, you can just type, so you do pip install. But before you can use pip install, you must have Python installed. Okay? So make sure you have you installed Python, sir?
Yes, I have.
All right. So in case what I'm doing is not enough, after this class, you can reach out and we'll resolve it. I've resolved so many people in the class before this class. So, but
Okay,
then
sir.
don't worry. So what you do is just do pip install. Okay. So you do pip install notebook. Am I correct? No. Yeah, pip install notebook. The spelling is not correct. So you do pip install notebook like this, okay? Then once it finishes installing, you will give it time and make sure you have a good network, right? So once it finishes installing, just do the command I did here that started it, all right? So you don't need to do anything extra. So where is that command? So just do pip Jupyter notebook and you start your Jupyter notebook. Is that okay? Hello, sir. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Okay, so that is that. So let's continue. So we have been able to explain Python. Okay, all right, thank you. So we have been able to explain Python and why it is necessary and why people are using it. So let's talk about variable. What is a variable and how? I know that some of you are new and some are not new. So let me just explain and use real life scenario because this is what I do in my class, right? So if I have a cup and I have water inside, or I have a cup and I have water, right? So there is cup, there is water. So the water here is the value. The cup is a container. So if I want to drink the water, I cannot pour the water inside my hand. I will need a container that will hold the water before I can use it. Either use it to drink, fetch, pour my body, whatever, right? So what is a variable? A variable is a container that holds value. All right, a container that holds value. Where are we? So when you talk about any value that you want to operate on, you cannot do without having a variable. It's just like somebody that wants to receive something but don't have a place to keep whatever is receiving. Take for example, somebody wants to give you food and there is no plate to put the food. Will he or she give you the whole pot, or will the hot food be poured in your hand? No. So there has to be a container. That is what the role of a variable. So what is a variable? So a variable can be something like this. It can be descriptive. So you can say X, like I said earlier, I say equal to 4. So what I'm doing here is I'm assigning the value 4 to X. And like I gave an example, I can also do something like this where I will say a cup as a variable, which is a container now, and then I want to assign water to it like this. Oh God. I need letter A. So let me do this quickly. All right. So if I come here and I do water like this, okay, so what am I doing? I'm saying that this value water is being assigned. This equal to here is an assignment operators. It's an assignment operator, not operators. It's an assignment operator, right? So the cup is a container. I'm using the assignment operator to assign the water for the cup. All right. So this is what a variable is. And there are certain things that you must note when it comes to a variable. A variable must, please, you can stop me at any time if you have questions. So a variable must be descriptive. So take, for example, I say X equals to 4. It's not descriptive. It's not explainable, right? If I want to tell somebody now, or so a junior developer who just joined the company, I can't tell him X is equal to, there are so many questions one can ask by just saying, so what is X doing? Why is it there? Where else is it relevant, right? But if I say cup, it's already, you can relate to, okay, this is a container and this is the value that is holding, meaning that I can use this cup anywhere else in the program. So your variable name must be descriptive. And then there are also things that you must do when it comes to variable in Python. In Python, we don't use keyword. You can't say let X equal, let C equal to, or let name, let's say name, for example, equal to John, like this. So you can't use the keyword, you can't use keyword in Python, all right? So that is one thing you must not do. Then any value that you assign to a variable, you must note the different data type that you are dealing with. And how many data type do we have? We have a string data type, an integer data type, a long, and what? A set, a dictionary, a list. All of these are data type, okay? All of these are data type that Python allows us to use in order to write what? Code, right? So we have a name and we are assigning to variable a name. Now, another thing I want to say about a variable is when you are writing your variable, it should be in a snake case. So if I want to say student name, for example, I cannot come and start with X like this and say student name. No, you don't do that in Python. Even though Python does not throw an error, the recommended method or way of writing variable is using the snake case, right? So how do you use the snake case? The snake case is using underscore like this, okay? underscore like this.
Sorry, coach. I can't see your screen anymore.
Are you sure?
Okay, yeah, I can see it now. I wasn't seeing it
Okay,
earlier.
okay, all right. Okay, so if you are writing any variable name, it should carry an underscore. This is what we call a snake case. So if you are saying student name in JS1, for example, it should be like this. Okay, it should be like this. Don't jam pack them together, and make sure it is descriptive. If
The
you
screen
say
has
JS,
gone again. No?
wait, I think it's your network, because
maybe it's my network. Maybe it's my
yes,
network.
sorry. Okay. All right, you're welcome, Mr. Latunji. Okay, so let's continue. So this is how you can write a variable that is descriptive. So every of your variable must be descriptive. Okay. And then another thing is, do not use keyword as variable. There are keywords that are in Python that must not be used as what? As variable. Okay. One of them is set. The set is a keyword in Python. Why is it a set? Because a set is a data structure. It's part of the data structure that Python provides for us to manipulate and manage data. Then a list must not also be used as a variable name. Dictionary must dict. Yes, it's dict. Dict, the keyword dict must not be used as what? As a variable name. What else? Lambda is also another keyword that must not be used as variable name. What else? In is also another keyword in Python that must not be used as variable name, and many more. All right. So why is this like this? Because when Python is being built, there are languages. I mean, there are all of this I'm showing you here. The list here is a constructor. It's a built-in constructor that you can use to create another list from dictionary, right? So I'll show you that conversion, but not tonight anyway. So I'm giving you the foundation, all right? So set, list, dictionary, lambda, in, and many of them must not be used as variable name. Now, another thing you must not do is using capital letter. So in languages like JavaScript, for example, if I use const, it means that variable must be constant all through the life of that variable in my program. So in Python, we also have what we call constant variable. And how do we write constant variable in Python? You use capital letter. So if, for example, I want to write a variable that is going to be constant, everything about that variable must be capital letter. So if I say, what should I use now? Okay, yeah, so let me use cup as an example. So if I say cup, for example, and I say equal to, and I assign water like we did before. So what I'm saying here is, what I'm saying here is this variable will be constant. It means the value cannot change all through the life of this variable in my program. All right. So this is how to use variable. Any question before we move further? Any question? Or should I just continue? All right.
Continue.
Okay, so if there's no question, let's shoot on. Okay, so now I've been able to explain variable. Now there's another built-in function I want to explain, which is called print. So the print is a built-in function that allows you to print the value of your variable to the console. So take, for example, we have cup now. So if I want to print this water, I cannot type water here. It means I'm already printing the value. Okay. If I come here and I say print water, okay, like this, okay, and I do something like this, I'm already printing. I'm not printing the container, I'm printing the value. If you understand what the definition I gave earlier. All right. So here, if I say water and I'm providing water inside this bracket, I'm just printing the water. I'm not printing the container. I'm printing the value, not the container. So for us to get the value of what is inside our container, the variable now, we need to print cup, not water. So if I come here, I'll type cup. Okay. And this print, like I said, is a built-in functions that allow us to print the value of our the value of our program of our code or variable to the console. All right. And what is console? Console is this place, this black space you are seeing here. So if I run this code now, and this out, so it will throw an error. And then I run this like this. So you can see that water gets printed to us. Okay. So if you want to print anything for you to see, so most times the print function is used in a situation where you want to find out what value am I getting from this variable, what is happening at this particular line of code. So you need to print the whatever is coming out from there so that you can know where the error is coming from. Is that point clear? Yeah? Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So let's shoot on. Now, the next one I want to talk about is the data types. All right. So like I said, we have different data types. So I've talked about variables. So I'm going to still use this. Anything that you see inside a double quote or a single quote is a variable. I mean, forgive me, it's a string. Anything that you see inside a single or double quote is what? Is a string. So here, this water here is a string. And what is a string data type? A string data type is a type of data that contain letters. All right? That contain what? Letters. So anything that you see inside a single or double quote is what? Is called a string. Anything that has, let's say, age, and I say equal to 45. So anything that carries numbers is an integer data type, meaning this is a type of data that has to do with numbers, right? 1 to 100, 100 to 1,000, and all of that. So this is an integer data type and is denoted by the keyword int, like this. Okay? So this is what you use to identify whenever you want to write the integer data type, right? And a string is denoted by str, like this. Okay. Then from here, we also have what we call a float. A float, let's say height, like this, height, and I'll say equal to 34.89. So any number that has a decimal value is what? Is a float. Is my height correct? Anyway. Okay. Any number that has what? Decimal place is called a float. Okay. So this is a float data type. So let's call it a float. All right. So now, let me tell you that if I change this to, if I wrap this in a single quote, for example, let's wrap it inside a single quote. So I'll say 34.85, whatever, like this. So this is no longer a float again. It's now a string. And how do you know? So I'll call the built-in type. So there is a built-in type that is called type, like this. And inside this type, I can provide a name of the variable I want to know the type. So if I do height like this, is that what I typed? Yes. So and then I run it, should be able to tell me the data type. So you can tell me that you can see that it's returning string. Can you see the screen? Please confirm you can see the screen. Yeah? Okay. So this is so you can see that it's showing string. But then if I change it back, I remove the single quotes, and then allow it back and run the code again, 34, right? And run the code again. So you can now see that it's telling me that it's a class of what? Float. So this is how you can know the type of data type you are dealing with. All right. So, and then like I said, we also have other data types. Okay. There is
so sir, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. So whether
Yes.
the numbers have a decimal point, as long as there is a quotation
Yes.
before and after it, it becomes a string.
it becomes a string. Anything that is inside a single or double quote is a string. But as long as they are not inside or so, and you must, this must be very, very, you must be very, very careful. So you cannot use, yes, this is also part of the knowledge. So you cannot use a string with an integer. So if I have 45 like this, let's say I have let me say I have a,
Our coach is no longer available, or is it my own network?
I think it's his network because it's been mute for over a minute.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for staying with me. My Wi-Fi had issue. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I had issue with my Wi-Fi, so that was why. Please, can you confirm you can hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you. All right, and you can see my screen, right? Correct? Yeah, so I was talking about data structure, and I said that uh, Python give us different kind of data structure. There is set, there is list, there is a dictionary, and there are many more of them. So, but the one I will show you for this class, so that we don't spend, my intention is 1 hour, 30 minutes, and we are close to the 1 hour. So yeah, let me see if I can ask those who are trying to rejoin. Sorry, just a sec. All right. Okay, so yeah. So I was talking about list data structure, and I said that list data structure is another type of data structure that Python gives us in order to manipulate data and manage data. So it comes with, all right, it comes with, what's it called? It allows you to store different type of data. So how now a list is an ordered kind of. So if I'm creating a list now, from what I said about variable, don't ever create a variable with a list like this. Don't use, is a keyword, so don't use it. So if you are going to use it, make sure you describe it. You can say list of students, or whatever list you are creating, let it be the name. So if I say, for example, I'm creating a list of students, for example, what do students have? Students have name, age, location, and all of that. So I can decide to create it. So a list is created by the variable and a square bracket. So as you can see now, this is an empty list. Why is it an empty list? Because inside this square bracket is empty, there is nothing there. So, and then for you to put value, it takes different type of data, all that we've said so far. Yes, and I just remember that I did not say anything about true, the Boolean data type. Now, there is also a Boolean data type where you have a truthy, falsy kind of data type. All right. Now, inside here, I can decide to put integer. I can decide to put a string, right? A string like this, John. Okay. I can also decide to put a float. All right. I can also decide to put what's Boolean. So I can say true. Okay, and different kinds of data I want to eat in my list. So, but you cannot do this with a list, a tuple kind of a data structure. A tuple does not take, a tuple does not allow different data type. A set also does not allow you to create different kind of data, but dictionary allow you to create. Okay. All right, so that is that about list. And from here, you can get a list, you can add, you can remove, just like the CRUD operation. If you have heard of CRUD operation, you can perform CRUD operation here by creating, updating, and what? And delete. That's what CRUD means. Okay? CRUD means you can create, you can delete, you can update. Okay? All right, so having explained that, let's continue. So now, this is it. So here we can add, we can remove. So if I want to add anything now, I can just call the list data type. Okay, I'll call list. This is too long for me, so I'll just copy it and bring it here. Okay, and then I'll say list of students, and then I'll call the dot append. Okay, I'll call the dot append method, and like this. I'll call the dot append method, and then I'll add a new value. Let's say I'm adding a maker. So let's add a maker, for example. So we say, let's add a maker like this. Okay. And if we now print, let's print our list variable, okay, like this. So if we run it, let's run it now. So you can see that we have now be able to add a maker to the list. So this is how you can add to the list. You can also remove. You can call the dot remove or the dot pop. Okay. So this is how you can add, remove, and also you can delete. So, and you can also copy. So there are different kind of types of method that you can use. Okay. All of that, I explain each one of them in detail in the course. All right. So now, and then if you have any other question, I'm always available 247 to answer your question, right? So here, so now I've been able to do that. Now the next thing I want to show you is, I will not go deep into all of that data structure, okay? But this is how Python allow you to create different types of data and the data type, so that you can manage and manipulate data. Now, having explained that data structure, the next one I want to talk about is mathematical operations. If you are performing mathematical operation, Python allow you to perform different kinds of mathematical operation, from addition to multiplication. So if we are adding number, for example, so if we say sorry, let's go back there. So I'll say A equal to 5, B equal to 3. Now I create a result variable like this, and I'll say A plus B. And when you print result, you should be able to see your answer like this, result. Okay. So, and if we run it, so you can see that it's giving us 8. Now we can also do the same. We can say results and multiply the same number, where we say A times B, like this. And when we run it, you can see it's giving us 15. Okay, that is 3 times 5 will give you 15. All right. Then you can also continue. So depending on whatever you are doing, so I'm just showing you the basics. I showed you how to deal with decimal numbers and all of that. Okay. So if we also do A minus B, so it should be able to give you the same what answer, 2, because 5 minus 2, 3 will give you 2. So if we have results and we say A divide by B, okay, and then we run it, it's giving us 1.6. Why is it giving us 1.6? Approximately 1.7 is because if you divide, all right, so let me tell you about what this is doing. So yeah, am I hearing something? Hello? Okay. All right, let me continue. Okay, so if we are now dividing, you can see that it's giving us 1.6. If you approximate it, that's 1.7. The reason is because of the division you are using here, right? So what this do is that it returns the result of your division, meaning that 3 can only go to 5 once. And then, so if you change let's change their position and see what it brings for us. So if we change their position and we run again, okay, you can see that it's giving us 0.6. Okay, that is when you divide 3 by 5, it's giving us 0.6. Okay, but if you divide 5 by 3, it's giving us 1.6. Why is that? Because 3 can only go into 5 once, remainder. So this will always return the remainder that you have. Then there's also another special one that we use, which is called the modulus. So if we have B modulus A, for example, okay, and we run the code, you can see that it's giving us 3. Okay, it's giving us 3. Why? Because that is the only number that can go into 5. Okay, So let's change their position again, and let's see what it gives to us. Okay. So this is it, right? So if you divide, what is it called? 3 modulus 5 will give you 2. Why is it so? Because if you minus, if you divide 5 by 3, the remainder will be 2. Okay, so that is, it will always return the remainder, okay, of your operation. So these are some of the mathematical operations that you can perform with Python. And there are also in-depth understanding around this that I will not be able to explain tonight because of our time. Now, the one I want to explain next is for loops. So, and whenever I'm discussing loops, I normally use a real life situation. Okay, for example, I'm seeing message. Okay, you can pin. Oh, it's an notification. Anyway, so if how do I explain loop? Take, so I want to repeat something. I want to repeat a code. So instead of me to say I want to print 1 to 100. So if instead of me to say print, and then I will now be using print like this to say print 1, print 2 to 100. This is stressful. I cannot continue using print. No, this is stressful. And for me to now not repeat myself like this, that is why Python provides what? A for loop. And another way to understand what for loop is and what it does really is how cyclists, is it cyclists they call them? Those ones that run an exchange button. I don't know much about sports, but I know that when you are running a 400-meter race or any type of race, there are always either 4 or in a team also, I don't know. But then I know that one will run, complete a circle, and hand over the baton to another person. The person will continue and give it to the next person. The person will, until the person that will complete the last lap. That is, if you understand what I just said, that is for loops. The ability to loop through over, to repeat a sequence over, no. The ability to repeat something over and over until the result is met. Until the result is gotten is what we refer to as a for loop. Hello, are you with me? Do you understand what I'm saying, Sas? Please, if you are with me, can you respond? Do you understand what I'm the example I gave? Hello, anyone here? I hope I'm
Yes,
not talking to myself.
no, you are not. I responded with an emoji though.
Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, so that is how a for loop is. So if I want to repeat a sequence operation, I want to look. Okay. So take for example, I want to print 1 to 10, for example, right? I want to print 1 to 10. So I cannot keep typing 1, repeat it again, 2. No. Instead, I can use for loop. How do I use it? I will use the for keyword. The for keyword tells Python that what I'm about to do, I'm about to create a for loop operation. So if I do for, then followed by a variable. So it must not be I, it can be anything. Okay? It can be a variable. So I say I, for I, then in. The in is also an operator that checks for something in a list, in a sequence, in an object or anywhere, right? So for I in, then I now provide a number. So take for example, let me create a name, and then I'll say name. Oh, sorry. I'll create a variable and assign a value to it. So let's say name, and then I'll say equal to Emeka, like this. Okay. Emeka like this. So if I want to look through this Emeka to print each letter, how do I do it? I'll do for I in name. Then I'll use a colon like this, and then I want to print I. Print I like this. Okay. And then, so if I now hold my shift and I run it, you can see how it's printing it for us. You can see that it's printing Emeka for us. The same thing, if I want to print a number, I can use the built-in what's it called, function called what's the name of that? Range, yes. So I want to use the range function so that I will print 1 to 10. So I will provide 10 like this. Okay. So, and then I want to print from 1 to 10. So instead of me repeating myself, I can use the range function, provide a number I want to print out from 0 to 10. Okay. And then when I run it like this, oh, sorry. So you can see 0, 1, 2, 3. So why is it printing from 0? It is called index. Anybody heard of index before? You are here, you understand what index is. Can I see an emoji? You understand index. What is index? Yes, what is an index?
Index is 0 now.
I know it's 0. Index is 0.
Yeah.
But what does it mean? What? Yeah?
That's the first list item now.
A position of a value. A position of a value.
In a positional.
Yeah. Yes, the position of a value. So every programming language has where their index start from. Java, for example, start from 1. Java does not have index 0, but Python starts from index 1. So the reason why you are seeing 0 to 9 is because I provided 10. So it's going to start from index 0 up to 9. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 7, 8, 9, right? So, and then the recommended way of using range takes 3 parameters. And by parameter, I mean whatever you are providing inside here. So if you say you start, you have a start, end, and step. So I want it to start from index 3, and it should have a total of 10, and then it should stop at 6, or let's say 9. Okay. Or let me show you this first. Let me not combine the 3. So I want it to start from index 3. Okay. And then when I run the code like this, yeah, sorry, there's need for comma. So comma, and then I'll run the code again. So you can see that it's starting from 3. So you can see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, if I want it to skip, 6, for example, I can provide it like this. I'll say 6 and then run the code. And you can see that it's giving me 3 and 9. Why? Because if you start from 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, that's 3, 7, 8, 9. So it will skip the first 3, 6, and it will give me 3 and 9 like this. So this is how the range functions work. And this is a for loop, okay? A for loop allows you to repeat over a sequence. Now, I cannot come here and say I want to look through 10. I'm going to run into an error. It's not done, okay? So if I do like this, I will run into a type error. And what is int object cannot be iterable. You cannot look through an integer. Do you understand what I'm saying, SAS? Do you understand? So you cannot look through an integer. You can only look through an object. And because an object is a sequence, that is why it is possible. So how do I mean by object? Take, for example, I provided a maker here, and we look through a maker, okay, like this. Why? Because a string is an object. So even if I move it, I did not create a variable, and I move it here, it will still work. Okay? If I move it here like this, and I run the code, it will work. But you can't do that with an integer. Is this point cleared? Are you getting value? Is there any new thing you are understanding from what I'm saying? Are you learning? Please, I need feedback. Hello? Hello, are you there with me?
My problem is I can't see your screen at all, so I think it's from my
We are here
network. So
with
that's why I'm
you.
asking for the video.
Okay. Sorry, Francis, what did you say?
We are here with you. Right
All right,
on.
so boy, okay, you understand what I've been saying, right?
Yes, for loops.
All right. So you cannot look through an integer because an integer is not iterable. An integer is an object too, but it is not iterable, meaning you can't look through over it. But you can look through what? A string. A string is an object and it's manipulable. English, manipulable. Anyway, let's write on. Okay, so you can manipulate on string because it's an object. So that's that. Now, having explained that, there's also Python only have two type of loops. I've explained for loops. So the next one is while loop. Okay, so the while loop is also used in situation where you want to say that while a condition is true, let something continue doing it until there's an action that contradicts that action. So you want to say that keep collecting users input until the user click on stop or until the user enter stop. So that is how a while loop works. Okay, so you say while x is while x is less than 5, keep printing. Okay, while x is less than 6, keep printing x prints x up like this, and then let's run it, let's play it. Okay, so it's already running on an infinite loop. It's running on an infinite loop because you cannot run a while loop like this. So while loop is one of the most I don't want to say craziest, but it's one of the most what is it called? It's one of the things that you must always look out for and be very careful with. This has made people to lose their job or lose money to people. If you were there at early, or I don't know, any of you may have heard of the story about Kuda. Is it Kuda or Money Point? I can't remember one of them. The one that came and shocked the tech finance space. I can't remember, where a new engineer came and made a code that continued looping and people were withdrawing from the bank overnight, right? So what am I saying invariably? So this is, I'm waiting for it to stop. I'm waiting for it to stop. So this is how you must always avoid while loop, okay? Especially in a situation where you are not sure of what you are writing. Hello?
Please guide us on that while loops so that we don't make mistake with it. Oh?
Yes, that's what
We
I'm
are
saying.
interested in that while loops so much.
Yes. Okay. So, all right. So let me show you how to write the code. Okay. So instead of you must always have a condition that allow you to stop the loop. So I've given a variable. So let me now show you the proper way to write it. So instead of just writing it plain like this, you must have a condition. Okay, so I can create a variable, let's call it index or count or anything. Let's call it index equal to 0. And then I'll say that while the index is, while index is less than or equal to 5, I want to print print the index. Keep printing the index like this. Oh no. Let's print the index like this. And then now I will now add increment. Okay, increment like this, index. Okay, and then I'll do plus equal to 1. All right. So with this, the loop will not be there. What does this mean? What is this code? What is happening here? So first, this condition here checks that it checks the condition before the loop. Okay. So this one here checks that how do I say it? It checks the condition before each iteration. All right. So like I gave you an example of how a loop works earlier. So before the first round that you exchange batting for the next person, this condition will check the condition before each iteration. Then if this is not there, this index plus equal to 1, I'm incrementing this index here, okay, by 1 by every iteration. So once to loop 1, it will add 1 here. So here will be, if this index here becomes 1, it will loop again, here will become 2, it will loop again until it get to 6. And if it get to 6, that is when it will stop. All right. So this is very important so that you have a controlled code. So the moment you don't have this increment, your code will run into an infinite loop. Is this point clear? Do you understand? Do you have question? Do you understand this, what I just said?
Yes, I understood.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. Okay.
God bless.
All right. So finally, for tonight, I'm going to discuss functions. I wanted to go into control flow and all of that, but I don't want you to keep you longer. And also, this is our first time, so let me know bombard you, right? So what we are going to do now is a function. And what is a function? A function is what we call is a reusable block of code. What does this mean? It means that you have a code that you write and you can reuse it at any time you want to use it. And one of the principles that bring about a function is the principle of dry. What does it mean? Dry in capital letter or in acronym simply means don't repeat yourself. And this is one of the principles that allow you to know how programmer writes clean code. Any programmer that keep repeating code, repeating the same line of code, it means the programmer is still immature. All right. So how do we now write a function? I said that a function is a reusable block of code, but how do we write it? So we write a function in a Python using the def keyword. So the def keyword is what you use to tell Python that, okay, this, what I want to do, I want to create a function. And remember that Python is a functional programming language. So even your method is defined by your def, your function, your method is defined by the def keyword. All right. Okay, so we say def followed by the name of our function. So I'll call it, what should I call it? Okay, let's create a function that add numbers together. So we'll call it add number, sorry. So we call it add number like this. And then we say equal to, oh, sorry. And then we say parentheses and then a colon. Now, inside here, I'm going to provide a parameter a, comma b, right? I'm providing a parameter that add two numbers together. So a, comma b. So where I will now add a together. So I can now create a variable that say result. the result should be equal to A times B, right? And then I can decide to print it at this. Okay, so this will make me to explain global variable and local variable. A global variable is a variable that is outside of the function. So if I create if I take this here now, so this variable result now, this result variable is now a global variable. So any variable that is not inside of the function is referred to as a global variable. Any variable that is inside the function is referred to as a local variable. Do you understand what I just said? Hello?
Yes.
All right. So this is how to create.
Okay.
All right. So this is how to create a function, and then you can now call your function. So if we do print, and then inside here I say add number. Sorry, add number like this. Add num like this. Okay, and then so this function will not work until I call it. So how do I call it? I'll call it by the method name. So I'll come here and then I'll call the method name. So I'll say add number and then provide a parenthesis. And inside here, I'm going to provide the actual value, which is 3,5. And then when I run it, let's run the code. Okay, it's giving me memory address. Why? Oh, sorry, result. So I'm printing the function name instead of the variable name. Okay, let's run it again. So you can see that it's giving me 15. So this is how to create a function. All right. So a function is a reusable block of code that you can use across your different, you can always reuse it. Any questions, sir? Do you have any question for me?
No, right on, sir.
All right. So if there is no question, so we call it a night. Tomorrow we'll now be talking about machine learning. All right. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll drop a message in the group, and thank you so much for being part of today's class. I really appreciate you, and thank you for staying till the end.
Yeah, we really appreciate your time, your effort. We say thank you so much in a special way. May God bless you and have a wonderful night.
You too, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Good night.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Let me stop the recording.
Okay.
Okay.